Hello, everyone. This is Kentucky from the My Thoughts On channel, and I know this. I'm a little late. I know that I'm a little late on this one, but I wanted to give my thoughts on the whole McKinney pool situation. I'm sure all of you have seen the videotape by now of the kids, a bunch of kids having a pool party. Not just black kids. A lot of people don't know that there were a lot of white kids there as well. It looked like to be a primarily white neighborhood in Texas, but there appeared to be several black families living there as well. And what everybody is so far is in an uproar about was the treatment, of course, of the who else? The black kids. The video I saw, there were a couple of black males, deja vu, handcuffed on the ground. I had no idea what they did. Maybe they had a good reason to be handcuffed on the ground. But of course, the biggest uproar was about the way that the police officer handled I believe she was 14, 15-year-old girl, uh, actually pulling his gun out. Excuse me. Excuse me. That was my Bluetooth. Actually, pulling his gun, not his taser, not his baton, not just using his hands, but wrestling this girl to the ground. And from the video I saw, I mean, I'm a realist, dude. I'm not gonna, you know, sit here and say, oh well, he if he did something wrong, I'm gonna say it. If he did nothing wrong, I'm gonna say it. And he, I mean, I must admit he was a little rough. Uh, he handled the young lady rather roughly, and then decided to pull out his firearm once a couple of more kids approached him over the way that he was handling this young girl. Now, the big issue, of course, was him pulling out his firearm. I didn't see him pointing at anyone. I don't think he pointed it at anyone, but these were a group, and everybody, you've all seen the video, and my thoughts is why on this incident is why pull your gun out on a group of teenagers, unarmed teenagers. Isn't this the whole thing that started with Trayvon Martin and ended it with in Baltimore? It's pulling your weapon on unarmed black people. This is the whole thing, and I understand that's not maybe that was the case in Baltimore, but it's what the headline is going to read. I don't know the procedure of police officers of pulling their firearms. I assume is okay for them to pull their firearm if they feel that their life is in danger. These were these were teenagers, I don't know, 14, 15, 16 years old. Maybe some 17. There were adults around during that time that the officer was there. There was a lot of chaos. Um, the reason why the officer, what's his name? Corporal Eric Casebolt, which has now resigned. I don't know if those group of teenagers in that chaos caused him to think that his life was in danger, or maybe he just, I don't know if he just felt like he had every right to pull his gun out on black teens, because it seems like the norm nowadays. It's not, it seems like the normal thing to do, the normal procedure when you're dealing with black kids is to pull your weapon. And we're seeing it time and time and time again. I don't know if he was aware that he was being taped or not, but always, if I were cops, I would always assume that I am. especially in situations like that where there's a bunch of people around, and where there's a bunch of people, there's usually a bunch of cameras. I don't know if this guy, I don't know if he was being taped or not, but it's you got to have that in your mind, and pulling your weapon on a bunch of teenagers. I mean, it doesn't look good on your resume. It doesn't look good on film. Um, you know, I can't get in this uh used to be officer resigned officer's mind. I can't tell you what he was thinking. All I could do is guess, and I guess he was afraid for his life, because there's no other reason why you would pull a deadly weapon on a bunch of teenagers that were in swim trunks and bathing suits. And I don't I just don't know how he would think that his life was in danger at that particular moment. Or maybe he just wanted to get more order out of the crowd by pulling his firearm. Maybe he just wanted to let everyone know, listen, I'm not fucking around. Chill the fuck out, back the fuck up. And pulling your firearm will help in that type of situation, I must admit. But the officer has resigned. And you've seen both sides come out. You've seen several blacks speak out in support of the officer. Of course, you've seen white people speak out in support of the officer. And it's just a story that surprisingly has not gone away yet. And it was pretty basic. It was a cop pulling his gun out on a bunch of black teens. And that's my thoughts on the whole mcKinney pool incident. Let me know what yours are. This has been Kentucky from My Thoughts On. Follow me on Twitter. The website's coming soon, but just for now, just follow me on Twitter and subscribe to the channel. This is going to go on and on and on, and I want to hear your thoughts on the situation, which is the most important. Thanks, everybody, and I will speak to you guys again later. Peace.